Yes. Namaste to all of you. So we will start where we stopped last time because we have taken the previous content. We have revised almost now 3 times. So without spending much time on the earlier section, I think we'll move further. Will that be okay with all of you? We have looked at the human goal, the common human goal. Please respond on the chat. If that is okay, then we move further. Because I don't know if the participants are the same. If they are the same, then we've already done that part. Kindly respond on the chat so we can take the content further accordingly. Yeah, Deepika Didi has said, go ahead. So I'm going by what she has mentioned, since she's the only one who has mentioned. So we have seen that when we go to fulfill this common human goal, that is, the common human goal is right understanding and right feeling in every individual, feeling of prosperity in every family, that every is very important, every individual, every family, fearlessness or trust in the entire society, and coexistence, that is feeling of mutual fulfillment when we're interacting with nature and existence. So we discussed that there are the 5 basic systems or the dimensions or the programs of human order. I mean, this is the way we can, when we say how, then this is the way we can do it. So since the human goals we have discussed it, I'm sure there will be some clarity and it will still grow. We can discuss all these 5 interconnected complementary dimensions or programs of human order, which are required. These are very essential to fulfill these 4 aspects of the common human goal. So we have also seen what these 5 are, and we have seen education and sanskar, health self-regulation, production work, justice preservation, and exchange and storage. And we have to work on each of these programs. And we can see that though each one of them is interconnected, we are able to see a primary link of the systems with the goals. Like, for example, education sanskar will lead to right understanding and right feeling, happiness within every individual. And this is the foundational system. So with this, the first goal will be fulfilled. Are we able to see that? Please respond on the chat. Are we able to see that? Kindly respond, all of y'all. It will help me also, because then I know that we are all co-exploring together, and it is not that the system is on and we are doing something else. Yes, Madan Bhaiya, you would like to say something?
Namaste, very good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry, being late. Actually, I was on another meeting, 6:30 to 7:30.
Yeah.
Now I recently joined here.
Yeah. No, we've just started. We were all
Yeah.
attending that meeting, and then we just joined this meeting.
Yes.
But we have discussed this human goal in the last 3 sessions we are discussing. So is there any clarification required over here, or we can move further? Is the question that I had asked all. And Deepika Didi said it's good that we proceed further.
Yeah,
So I'm
I will
assuming
ask.
that this is clear.
I will ask after some time.
Okay. No problem. So thank you, Madam. So now if we see, are we all able to see? Ruby ji has written yes. Are we able to see that with the right education, it will develop the right understanding and feeling? And naturally, then it will come into our expression in our sanskar also. Only Ruby ji has responded. What about the others? Are we able to see this? Has this education of universal human values, the workshops that we are attending, the sessions that we are attending, is it helping us to improve or to better our right understanding and right feeling? Yeah, Priya Didi says yes. Deepika Didi and Nivin's written yes. What about the others? Are these sessions helping us? These sessions, morning sessions, and the sessions that we attend as panelists, any of the UHV FDPs. Yeah. So this is the foundational system. And so with this, the first goal will be fulfilled. Sanskar, when will evolve, whenever it will evolve, it will enable to lead a life which is naturally acceptable. Madanbi has also written yes. Thank you, all of you all. Now, if we look at health and self-regulation, what does it lead to? Health and self-regulation leads to the feeling of prosperity in the family. So this feeling of prosperity, it indirectly helps us to coexist with nature. Even when we are interacting with nature, we will work on sustainable processes. So it will definitely lead us to harmony in the society and the environment. Similarly, production and work will also lead to prosperity in the family. Justice preservation, when there is justice and preservation, it will lead to fearlessness in the society. And it will also lead to coexistence, to contemplate and understand all the 9 feelings that we have discussed earlier, and to live accordingly will result in mutual happiness. So preservation means we are able to enrich nature. We are able to protect nature, and we are also able to rightly utilize nature such that we can coexist with each other and with nature and existence. When we discuss storage, exchange and storage, it leads to, again, prosperity and feeling of fearlessness. We will elaborate a few points. But are we able to see this, that education is to develop the right understanding of harmony at all 4 levels? It will develop the right feeling and understanding in an individual, but regarding all 4 levels, from self to entire existence, from individual to nature and existence. The second part, that is of the first, that is sanskar. It is the commitment, the preparation and practice of living in harmony. So whatever skill and technology that we gain, it will be such that it will help us in living in harmony at all 4 levels. From self to entire existence. And would anybody like to say what is right understanding? It's there in front of you. Basically, if we know what to do,
natural acceptance, madam.
Yes, Purushottamji. It is referring to natural acceptance, but when we refer to natural acceptance and find out what is our purpose, what do we have to do as a human being? What is it that we are here for? So the natural acceptance will tell us that we want to be continuously happy, that we want to be in relationship. So basically, it will tell us what to do as a human being. When we are within ourselves, when we are interacting with family, society, and nature. So that is the right understanding. What is right feeling? Would anybody want to say this? Do we already have the ability to live in relationship with all other human beings? That means we have to develop a capacity. We have to develop a capacity to live in relationship with other human beings. We know so many people. Yes, someone wants to speak. So we know that there are so many people who may be criminals, or there may be fights in the house. There is war between countries. That means they are not having this right feeling. They're not having the capacity to live in relationship with other human beings, with family and society. Whatever must be the reason for the lack of competency, but they do not have the right feeling. So the right feeling is the capacity. This is what we have to develop, to live in relationship with the other human being in family and society. And third is the right skills for prosperity. What will this encompass? The skill, very, very important. That is the capacity to identify what are my needs as far as physical facility is concerned. Do all of us have this capacity by birth? Maybe we had it, but over a period, we have got into so many assumptions, so much of preconditioning, that we are unable to identify what is our need of physical facility. A child does not cry for the multiple physical facilities that we crave for, and the multiple physical facility we run behind. So as we are growing, we are gathering all these preconditionings or maybe sensations. We develop those, our desire, thought, and expectations are built around either sensations or preconditionings. More of it. There could be natural acceptance. We may be referring to natural acceptance. There could be right skills for prosperity. But most of us, we run behind physical facility. So the right skill for prosperity, very importantly, is to develop that capacity to identify what are those physical facilities, how much of it is that I require. And not only as an individual, this is something that we need to help the members of the family also to develop the capacity. The skill and practice for sustainable production. So even if I know that I require X amount, X, Y things, then I also require the skill and practice such that I'm working with mutual prosperity with nature. That means the practices for sustainable production. When I'm interacting with people, I'm taking the help of labor. I treat them as other human beings. I help in the restoring of harmony in nature and the existence. So the skill and practice for this is required, whether it's labor, whether it's using cyclic processes, whether it is mutually enriching processes, whatever. And then moving towards the feeling of prosperity. This is also a skill. Many members in the UHV now, since we are attending so many UHV programs, we hear so many members saying, I have not gone to buy a single sari for the last 2 years. Some people say, I don't feel like going out for any entertainment. Some members say, I had a car, but I've already sold it off and I don't want to have one. How does that come? The right skills for prosperity must be developing. So it's all with right understanding, right feeling, and right skills. How does this happen? This is all because we are connected to the UHV education and sanskar, or maybe similar kind of an education. Are we able to see that? Just if we have to elaborate a few of these. So like, for example, if we go back to this, I'd given the example last time that full year we cannot have rice growing or wheat growing, whatever we are requiring. So for some time, it is being cultivated. Some part of the year, something else is growing. So what we do is we store it for the entire year. And whatever else we growing, what we may not be requiring, or the excess that we have grown, we can exchange it or share it with others. Exchange it for something else, or share it with people who may not have enough. How will that come? That exchange and storage. Storage is not for hoarding. Storage is so that we can help ourselves and help others. So this is very, very important. Are we able to see this? If all of us lead we practice this exchange and storage, are we able to see that we will all be leading with a feeling of prosperity? We will all be living with trust with each other. It will be a fearless society. Are we able to see this? When each of us will lead this life where whatever excess we have, we are there to share it with others. Not the question of donation. It is not the feeling of high and low, that I am better, somebody else is not, so I'm giving it. Not that way. Someone else is helping me in some way, and in exchange, I am helping the person with something else. Kindly respond. Are you able to see this? Because we are just understanding how all these can develop. Sheila Ji says she is able to see it. What about the others? Are we able to see? So every family will get a feeling of prosperity. Right now, what is the feeling? Feeling of hoarding, competition. If I don't buy it and keep, it will go away. I will not have enough. Maybe I don't even want to share it with others what I have, how much I have. This constant feeling of that I don't have enough. That feeling of prosperity is not there currently. But with this right understanding and right feeling, it will help us to develop that feeling of prosperity. So if we have such a program for all of us, then we are able to achieve the human goal. Are you able to see this, that it is achievable? If all of us develop such a program. And we are all part of the education program. We are all interacting with students. Shashikanbe also says yes, Rubiji also says yes. it's good that we are all exploring together and we are able to see. So we know that since we are connected with education, if we are now aware that the human goal is to be fulfilled, we know where is the missing gap to be filled up. Our content has to help us to understand harmony at all levels. If we understand, definitely it will go to the living. So education which is value-based, and then we should lead to value-based living. At all the levels, whether it is pre-primary, primary, secondary, higher education, continuing education, at every level. So if all our content of education, whatever it is, technology, or it is, law, whichever be the education, if all of us, commerce, finance, management, fashion, design, arts, if all courses, medicine, have this integrated, this larger goal and the program to achieve it. If all this is integrated and if every individual is helped to explore, are we able to see that education and sanskar can help us achieve the larger goal, the larger human goal? So even with health, this would be. Because if education is a part of, if value-based education is a part of our mainstream education, for example, in medicine, if it is being, the students are helped to explore in medicine, what will be the kind of society we'll have? Will we have more hospitals? We get very happy when a hospital is being inaugurated. Will we look out for more hospitals? Or will we look out for a program that the doctors create which will prevent any diseases to happen? What should the focus be? In curing diseases or in preventing diseases? A proactive program which helps us to plan what we want, or a reactive program? A reactive program is something happened, so you treat it. That is dealing with what is there right now without a vision of the future. Sheila ji, Satyanarayan ji, Ruby ji, we are all able to see that we all want a proactive, which is prevention, not cure. Cure, of course, whatever is unavoidable, what is still going to happen, we have to cure it. Doctors will have to cure. But suppose if all the medical fraternity is working, just imagine that if everyone is working towards prevention of the disease, what will happen? What happened during COVID? Of course, the curing had to happen. Once who was stuck with COVID, it had to happen. But we have seen so many scientists working towards prevention of COVID, how to eliminate it, how to eradicate it. And because they all worked at it, we all got the doses, the vaccines, the booster doses, and so on. And therefore, we are all able to move around freely. We are all able to attend not only college, but also we are going for weddings, we are going for, so many other maybe spiritual activities. We are able to safely go and buy grocery from down wherever, wherever we have to. So there are so many important things that we are now fulfilling. We are able to meet each other. Family. We were confined in small families. But because of all this, because COVID has actually been, moved away from our life, we are able to lead a safe life. So, are you able to see this? So, role of the doctor is not merely to cure. It is, of course, to cure also, but the proactive role is to ensure self-regulation in every individual, in every family, so that the health of every individual is taken care of. And we have also seen in our entire content on the second day, third session of the 5-day FDP, so much emphasis. There's an entire session on self-regulation. And every Friday, there are sessions on natural methods and self-regulation. So the role of education is not only to inculcate skills, but also would be to ensure right understanding. Are we able to see this? That because so many medical fraternities, so many scientists worked at that time with right understanding, at least their acceptance, their assumptions were based on right understanding. Similarly, when we are producing on the farm, what will we do? Will we extract maximum from nature and consume it? Or rather, will we focus on fulfilling our needs correctly? That means growing as much as we require, growing at the time when we require. And the methods also, which will not harm nature. Are we able to see that? In every field, this understanding is possible. What to produce, how much to produce, how to produce. Are we able to see that? If it is on the basis of right understanding, what will we do? We will not only nurture, protect, and rightly utilize our body, but also the way we interact with nature would be more enriching. We may put back more manure. We will avoid the use of chemical fertilizers. We will produce as much as we require. We will store the rest and share it with others. Are we able to see this in the two different fields that we have discussed, medicine and agriculture? I'm ensuring that the soil is rich. I've returned back. I've taken something, but I'm returning back the rest. Are we all able to see this? Kindly respond on the chat. Even when we are producing clothes, we have been seeing the kind of clothes that are being produced, the amount of clothes that are being produced. It is adding to the landfill so much. But if we were doing it more responsibly, keeping the nature in mind, we will be adopting mutually fulfilling processes. So there are so many such examples, even of judge. What would the role of the judges be? Would the role of the judges be to fight cases in the court, What would you like to see? Or helping the families who have differences and conflicts, opposition, to help it convert into harmony, into mutually fulfilling relationship. What would you like to see? Working for justice, that means only filing cases and fighting for each other, or ensuring that justice is there naturally. Naturally, justice is ensured. Ruby ji is written. Justice and harmony. Very nice. So the role would be proactive to educate people and family such that disputes do not occur with respect to justice. So in short, what we are trying to say is that we have to have such systems and dimensions in a proactive way. We have to think about it in a proactive way rather than thinking in reactive or active manner. Just give me 1 second. And we know that there are courts where there are innumerable children. Families are fighting for justice. Can we imagine what these children are going through? Between the husband-wife strained relationship, between the parents' strained relationship, the in-laws strained relationship, between fights for disputes. Are we able to see this? Do we want a society which is fearless, which is living a life with right understanding and right feeling? What do you think? Do you think that working for this is important? Ruby ji is written. Yes, even Amadan ji is written justice. What about the others? What do you all think?
Didi, there is a hand raise. Madanji wanted to.
Yeah, please.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah,
Am I
Madanji.
audible?
Yeah, very much audible.
Yes. Now I want to share my some reflections here that I truly identified and realized that first I have to know myself, means self and its coexistence with my body, and I have to make strong both self and the body, because we have to face with the tough people. They may trigger me to divert my purpose and program.
Who may divert the purpose and program? Yeah,
Means
missed.
the other persons, मैं बता रहा हूँ अभी आपको आगे बता रहा हूँ.
Okay.
ठीक. So that is why I decide that first सबसे पहले मैं हूँ, then the relationship with family which is for prosperity. जान है तो जहान है, मीन्स मैं हूं तब फैमिली को मैं कर सकता हूँ, अपने आप को स्ट्रॉन्ग रखूं तो फैमिली को। फिर आई हैव टू वर्क विद द सोसाइटी फॉर द फियरलेसनेस। देन फॉर म्यूचुअल फुलफिलमेंट I have to work with existence and the nature. So for this, I have decided that I have explored that I am exploring to develop continuously right understanding, not assuming. I have stopped the assuming. First मैं assume करता था, उसको मैंने stop कर दिया है कोर्स के बाद से, समझने के बाद से। अब मैं right understanding की तरफ चले गया हूँ। And also developing responding not reacting. पहले रिएक्ट करता था, अब मैं रिस्पॉन्स करता हूँ, तो मैं कूल महसूस करता हूँ, गुड फील करता हूँ। और अब मुझे पता है दूसरे व्यक्ति सामने वाले और मेरे में सब चीजें समान है, इक्वल है, बस कॉम्पिटेंस जो है उसका डिफरेंस है। तो मैं अपना कॉम्पिटेंस लेवल को भी इंक्रीज करने के प्रयास कर रहा हूँ। और मैं अब इक्वलिटी की तरफ देख रहा हूँ, कंपेयरिंग नहीं कर रहा, मैं किसी से कंपेयर नहीं कर रहा। अब मैं अपने आप को इक्वलिटी के एंगल से देख रहा हूँ, और मैं जो है फोकस कर रहा हूँ प्रिवेंशन की तरफ, नॉट क्योरिंग की तरफ, कि गड़बड़ हो जाएगी तब मैं उसका इलाज कराऊंगा, नहीं, मैं पहले से प्रिवेंशन करने की उसमें लग रहा हूँ। तो ये सब चीजें मैं तब कर सकता हूँ जब मैं एक डेफिनेट पर्पज और प्रोग्राम मैं रखूं अपना, जो मेरा है, जो डेफिनेट पर्पज और प्रोग्राम, और मेरी जो इच्छा है वो है हैप्पीनेस खुद में, और प्रोस्पेरिटी परिवार में चाहिए, म्यूचुअल फुलफिलमेंट चाहिए। और ये सब चीजें पॉसिबल है जब मैं हार्मोनी क्रिएट करूंगा सारी लेवल पे, सबके साथ ढंग से रहूंगा। थैंक यू, मैं इतना ही बताना चाहता हूँ। और कुछ रह गया हो तो आप प्लीज गाइड मी।
नहीं भैया, ठीक है, हम एक्सप्लोर करते रहेंगे साथ में। ठीक है, अच्छी शेयरिंग हुई। और भी किसी को शेयरिंग करनी है तो कर सकते हैं। Anyone wants to share, you can share. So we can see that when we don't have right understanding and there is no harmony in relationship, naturally there is no happiness. We can see that we are suffering. We may be living together in a family, in an institution, in a society, but what are we? We are having differing goals. We are not working towards it, and therefore we are all suffering. So what is better? Suffering is better, or educating ourselves and others towards right understanding and right feeling? What is more better? To continue with the struggle and the suffering, or to work towards developing the right understanding and right feeling within ourselves and helping the others also? Yeah? Kindly respond. See, your responses are very important.
Right understanding and feeling.
Yeah, so we'll all have to put efforts. Thank you, Madan Bhaiya. So we have to work towards each one of us, towards ourselves, and thus we will be able to bring it to the family also. So similarly, if we look at preservation, like for example, we've all seen that the rivers are flowing. But what happens is, we have seen some states, some parts of the country, that many of these rivers are dry. Water is not available. In the same rivers which were flowing 20 years or 40 years or 50 years back. Who has done it? Who has caused deforestation? Who has caused soil erosion? Who has caused water scarcity? Who has caused it? Madan Bhaiya says human being. Priya Didi says human being. And who's suffering ultimately? Who is suffering ultimately? We only. Priyaditi is written, we only. Madan Bhaiya is written, human being. It is all of us who are suffering. Even people who may not have contributed to it also are suffering. This is what we have returned back. We have not been able to preserve nature. But if we make a program to preserve water, forest, soil, will it be possible? We all know what happened with Punjab and Rajasthan. Because of the way the soil was used, it resulted so much into cancer because of the insecticides and pesticides. Many parts in Punjab and Rajasthan. In fact, the cancer patients had to be carried to other parts. So we have to understand what are we doing, whether this exchange, is it mutually fulfilling or is it only to extract the maximum from each other? Do we want to just take from people and nature? Or do we want to follow take and give? Or do we want to follow give and give? Give and give is where I try to give, you also try to give. Both of us are feeling fulfilled. So like if there is there are two houses and there is a neighbor. Maybe the wall during construction by mistake has gone into that neighboring part, maybe 1 foot or 2 foot or whatever. So do we want to spend an entire life fighting court cases? Or do we want to say, okay, you take whatever it's already there now, let's forget it and let's start a relationship. If we give, maybe the other person will feel that that person also has to give something. Maybe he may offer some money for it. Such disputes happen between two brothers also. Forget neighbors. So do we want to spend years in court cases where nobody gains? 20 years, 10 years, we're just wasting resources in the court cases. Similarly, wars, the amount of funds that are being spent on wars, what is happening? National resources are getting depleted. But if we have the feeling of give, will that feeling reach the other person? Someday, may not be the same day, may not be same moment, but at least some day will it reach the other person? Will the other person be able to see that? Will the other person also feel like start giving? It will of course depend upon when the right understanding is developed in the person. So we have to see proactively whether the exchange is mutually fulfilling. Even if we look at production in the world, what do you think the shortage that is there? Is it because of lack of production, food production? The distribution, there is a problem. Feeling of prosperity, there is a problem. People are hoarding, and that's why things are not reaching the right people. So if exchange is mutually benefited, then we wouldn't have food products which are rotting in the warehouses, in the stores. We would have the program to rightly store it, distribute it, and ensure that it reaches everyone. So we all have the education content with us. Now we have to develop that commitment amongst ourselves, amongst our colleagues, amongst management, amongst students. How many of us are feeling committed that yes, it is my responsibility to share this content and reach it to the maximum number of people that is possible? Without learning, without understanding, is it possible to live in harmony? Till we don't understand what is harmony at all 4 levels. So are we able to see the role that we have to play, the responsibility that we have? Otherwise, we'll only be focusing on skills. And we have seen the result of skill development. How much of misuse is happening in the society. We heard one day in the morning session, I hope all of you are listening to the morning sessions. One of the professor was saying regarding cyber security and cyber crime, how young students are getting involved in cyber crime. And he was saying there are 3 levels. And it starts with, it is white, gray, and black, something like that. And there are students also who go up to the black level, that is, which is the worst kind of cybercrime, which is like very risky to the nation at a global level. So young minds, if only skill is provided, without the right type of value education, without the right understanding and the right feeling, what will happen? So Priyaji says, yes, we have the responsibility. What about the others? Are we feeling that only I need to develop the right understanding? Or is it that this right understanding, we have to help others also, not only students, colleagues, neighbors, so many people who are involved, who are part of the society, who are human beings, to develop this right understanding? Besides Priya Didi, what about the others? Yeah. So I think before we go to this, we'll take a little feedback. Maybe you can unmute and say it, because this will open up a new topic, which we can do it in the next session, the process of development in an environment of relationship. We'll do that next time. So today, if you can just give some feedback, whether the pace of the sessions are okay, whether it is helping us to explore, helping us to develop our right understanding. If you have any suggestions, please feel free to share that. Please raise your hands. Whoever would like to say. Yes, Purushottam-ji.
Good evening, Ji.
Yeah, good evening.
In professional context, it is my experience whenever having right understanding and natural acceptance, we try to accept others, we try to understand the feelings of others. It may be the students or the fellow faculty members. But in turn, they are not able to receive us the same natural acceptance or right understanding. So it is not one time or 2 times, many a times, which is happening because of several reasons. At that time, do we continue having the same process of natural understanding, or it is good to ignore them?
I was not able to get the entire question. If you can just say it a little louder, and there is some background noise, so I'm not able to get the point. something to do with natural acceptance. You did say that. Maybe you can write it on. Yeah. No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. You can, if you are able to say it, also fine. If you want to write it and put it on the chat, also it's okay. You want to try it once more?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. I am doing that. Now, is it clear, madam?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, is it clear, madam?
Yes. Yes.
I'm audible?
Yes. Yes.
In professional context, what happens is, it is my personal experience. Even though we try to understand the feelings of others, emotions, and so on, others means our students or the fellow faculty members, through our natural acceptance and right understanding. But in turn, the people, it may be students or sometimes faculty members, they are not in a position to receive us, even though we extend our positivity and we extend our love and affection towards them. They think that we are expecting something from them. That is what we are showing all these things. So one day, my HOD asked me, I extended my all the gratitude something. Then in turn, she asked me, what are you expecting from me? Like that. See, people are, whether students or, I mean, the fellow faculty members, they are not in a position to receive this right understanding and natural acceptance. So, in this context, my question to you. So, yes, of course, we're supposed to keep on continue this process. At the same time, do we want to, continue the same process of extending all these things, or we supposed to ignore them?
So we cannot ignore it. The moment we ignore it, that means we are in opposition. So we cannot ignore it, but we can keep quiet for some time. We can get silent for some time. And what we can do is we have to improve our own competency, our own right understanding has to develop, our own competency has to happen. Once we develop the right understanding, we also need to develop the competency to help the other to develop the right understanding. But till the other person does not see that reflection in us, they may feel we are just preaching, not practicing. So till it is not visible in us, till that change is not visible in us, till it is not seen, till we are not seen as responsible people or more competent than them, till they don't see us like that, very difficult to accept us. So the best thing to do is silently work on self. And when they will see that change in us, what do you think? Will they get more opened up to receive from us? Yes, Purushottam ji?
I'm listening to you, madam.
Sorry?
No, please. Yes, I'm listening to you. Yes, madam.
Yeah, so it is not the right time, when for us, it is information right now. But we are not practicing. So till we do not put it in practice, people can't see it. Until people don't see it, they will not believe us. They will not want to take any advice from us. But if they see the positive change in us, gradually they will get opened up to hear from us. They will want to know how we have developed so much.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a very simple question to Madan Bhaiya, Priya Didi, all those who have been responding, Ruby Didi, quite a few of you have been responding, Lalita Didi. Yeah. If you can, Satyanan Bhaiya is, I think, left. He had mentioned something. Sheila Didi, if you can put on the chat, respond on the chat. What do you think? Will this process work? That we work on ourselves, we explore for ourselves, we move our own imagination towards based on right understanding, refer to our natural acceptance, if people can see it in us, will then that openness happen for people to learn from us also then? Yeah, Priya Didi has written yes. I'll just give you a very, very simple example. So from people who have achieved, they may be a part of UHV or they may not be a part of UHV. Someone who has already achieved that, right understanding, who is also living with that right understanding. There could be somebody. So what would we like to do? Would we like to hear from them and see their change? They have already achieved it. So they are a proof for themselves. Would we want to learn from them, or would we like to pick up a book and read from it? What would you like to do? Yeah, Priya Didi said that she would like to hear from them, to see their, observe theirs, and learn from them. So this is the difference. When people don't see us with that change that we are expecting them to bring, they will say, this person is just talking, does not practice, but is advising others to practice. We may learn jargons in UHV. We may learn a lot of content. We may have a lot of information. And if this information we take it outside without that change and that behavior in us, people are observing us at every moment, whether it's family, colleagues, wherever. But if they see that change in us, they will start believing us. They will want to listen to us. And that's how their journey will start. But if we just say that we know now certain things and now we start bombarding people, that will not happen. Are we able to see this, Purushottam ji? Yeah, and it's time also. It's 8:33. Maybe we can all explore. We don't need to give any replies over here. Priya Didi, of course, has, but it's okay. It's all for our own exploration. All these sessions and all these meetings are for our own explorations. So thank you for all your patient listening and interacting through the chat and through even through talking. Nice, very nice. Do continue to interact and continue to be joined. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ila Didi, for the session. Nice. It was exploration for us also. Like you mentioned, people has to see the change in us, then only they will listen to us.
Adi has written, I just read the first message from Adi. Adi, would you like to unmute and just say one sentence at least? We don't know who you are, student or staff. We would really like to hear students on this group. Staff, of course, we are all there exploring together. Okay, Adi says background noise. Are you a student, Adi? Host? Okay, the host. Okay, fine. Thank you, everyone.